Hi, my name's Simon Jones, and this is my first 5 minutes video series in which I examine the first 5 minutes of a range of different computer games. And today we're going to take a look at Gunpoint, a nice little indie game from Tom Francis, a former computer games journalist who seems to know what he's talking about. Okay, so I'm just going to start a new game so you can see what it does from the beginning. And we'll start the 5 minute clock around about now. Dead guy. No, that's not a dead guy, that's actually you, and you got thrown out of a window. And the lady in the top floor of the building you fell into is now trying to call you. And you have this entire conversation while face down on the floor. This kind of immediately sets the tone for the game. And now we begin to interact. So we're moving left and right, okay, that's fine. We can see that we've got a mouse cursor as well, and you can mouse over things and interact with a whole bunch of them, such as turning that light on and off. So immediately we have a sense that this is a world that you can interact with, and she just got thrown out of a window. Oh, and shot in the head by a guy. Okay, so we're going to go up and find out what's going on. We've called the lift down. We can see that camera's gone red. Doesn't seem to have much of a consequence, but presumably that will be important later. And we're immediately taught at the start that we can fall long distances without any problem at all. Okay, now we're into a flashback, and this basically cements the humour of the game that's going to run all the way through. So we're about, 30 seconds into the game, and it's set up the tone of the game. We kind of know how to do some of the movement, we've figured out how to interact with things, and we've got some hints of other stuff that's to come, such as the cameras. But we don't yet know how it's all going to really slot together. The other thing it's doing is layering on all kinds of style. From the noir music to this retro PDA that pops up where you interact with people that you're going to be doing missions for. This game does know what kind of tone it's trying to strike. And it yo-yos between that serious noir feel and just outright naked gun lampoonery really well. Okay, so once you find out what's going on, we're presented with this menu screen, where there's suddenly lots of options, which I always found a little bit disconcerting at this point in the game, because you don't really know what the relevance of anything is. I haven't really done any jumping yet, so the fact I can upgrade my jump is a little bit weird at this point. But regardless, let's accept the mission, which is the only one we can do anyway. And we have this little mini dialogue sequence where you can find out more about it. You can basically skip these if you want, just to get to the game, or if you go into it you'll find some genuinely really well written and very funny dialogue in there, which just fills in the world and what's going on. Okay, so now we get one of the main mechanics in the game, which is jumping. And it's nice and simple, and you essentially do it a couple of times and then you know everything you need to know to start having fun with it. Except we can't get in this building, but obviously we've been taught how to jump, so we'll go up. And the game did have to tell us to do it, so it kind of took a shorthand there, but the nice thing is that it then forces us to jump over this building in order to get in the door, so we have to try it out to progress through the level. And again, we can kind of be sneaky here by turning off the lights if we want. We don't really know if we need to at this point. We're starting to find objects around, so we can hack this laptop, and it gives us some extra information, kind of like computers you find lying around Deus Ex, that kind of thing. It's all incidental stuff. I don't think it has a huge bearing on the game, but it fills in with flavour. Okay, so we'll go in and hack this computer. Hacking in this regard is really simple, it's literally just one button press. Now we're done, we could go back down the lift and out the door, but it's far more fun to jump out the window. And basically, if you haven't decided to buy the game by that point, then you're soulless. Now the funny thing is that one of the main parts of this game is hacking. There's a whole kind of alternate view on the world where you can connect up different electrical components to each other, so you can flick a light switch and it causes all sorts of other things to happen elsewhere in the building. But in the first 5 minutes you don't see any of that, you don't have any idea that's even coming up. It takes its time to introduce the mechanics, so I'm increasing my jump because jump is fun, and we'll go straight in and get our second mission. So we know we can jump around, we know we can move and hack things, but we don't really know what the challenge is yet. So the next thing the game introduces is guards. But the first guard we see is facing away from us, so he's not a problem. We don't have to worry about him. But we don't seem to be armed, so we just jump on him. And then you can punch him to knock him out. And then you can just keep punching him. And this is one of the moments in the game where, again, it just reinforces the style of it. And you suddenly realise that this game knows what players are about. The guy making this game knows what players are going to think about doing at this point. And it teaches you a mechanic and does it in a really funny way. So you're not going to forget that. And that's the game so far. 5 minutes, and we've been introduced to some of the mechanics, but crucially, there's some really important ones that we don't know about yet. If we stop here, you're not going to know anything about the hacking side of it, which is kind of interesting that it holds back so much, rather than throwing it all at you in the first level. But it does mean that as you're introduced to each of the elements, you do fully understand them. So, that's the first 5 minutes of Gunpoint.